Alright, we're gonna jump right into WandaVision, the show on Disney Plus. The first Marvel show post Endgame. Start technically starting Phase 4. That was supposed to be Black Widow, but due to COVID circumstances, we don't even know if we're gonna be getting Black Widow this year. That might
COVID.
that might end up on Disney Plus.
Yeah, 2020 is still bleeding into 2021.
So WandaVision. So we're 5 episodes. Oh, and before I get into Wanda, we will be spoiling stuff for the first 5 episodes. So if you have not watched WandaVision up to episode 5 that premiered yesterday, please get off.
Yeah, pause this, go watch those episodes, then come back so you can join us
And
in on this
I do
conversation.
not want to get a
Because
message on
I have
Facebook.
feelings about this.
I do not want to get a message on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever in the comments saying, you spoiled WandaVision. I'm going to say, well, I told you not to watch it if you haven't gotten through episode 5. And I mean episode 5. We're going to spoil stuff in episode 5.
Yeah, unless you've finished watching the end credits of episode 5, you're going to be spoiled.
So, okay, Wanda. So, Zach, let me start with you. What do you think about Wanda?
Okay, well, here, let's start this off real quick. We promised at the end of episode 1 that we were going to talk about WandaVision's the first 2 episodes. I nixed that in the bud real quick because guess what? The first 2 episodes of WandaVision were terrible. Absolutely terrible, in my opinion. Even now, everyone's saying like, oh, the first episodes of WandaVision make so much more sense now and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they don't. Like, you gave a reason for your cruddy episodes, but that doesn't make the cruddy episodes good. Hands down, not a fan. Now, in episode 3, it was slightly getting better because it looked like there was a plot in there, but it still wasn't. Episode 4 is actually good. And that's where we start the stuff. Episode 5 was really good. Here's the problem. In WandaVision, the TV series, it's really bad when you have a TV series and I don't care about the characters who are in the title. I don't care about Wanda. I don't care about Vision. Ironically enough, the characters that I care most about, Rambo, Jimmy, and Darcy. That's it. I don't care about any other characters.
He loves all racist people. All racist evil lover of. So, anyway. So you don't like the sitcom aspect.
No, I hate it. It's terrible.
You see,
It's not the good sitcom moments either.
I like it. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say it was great. I enjoyed that Marvel wanted to go start out in a different direction. I enjoyed
There were better characters to do that with then.
the more fun and playful aspect. It reminded me of, like I said, I Love Lucy, Bewitched back in the day, especially in those first 2 episodes. It had that vibe to it. And then when we get in the 3rd episode, it definitely had a more Brady Bunch aspect to it. And now we're in the more late 80s. Now in the last episode, episode 5, gave me more of a Full House, Growing Pains feel to it. Not because there's an Olsen in the show, and Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen were in Full House. But even then, I was more of a fan of Growing Pains growing up, and I was like, yeah, this feels like Growing Pains. Just the family dynamic and bringing up a theme to teach the kids. It just worked for me. So I don't mind the sitcom stuff, especially now that we're in episode 4 and 5, where now we are going back and forth between the sitcom stuff and the present day outside the bubble that they're in. It now is adding a more interesting dynamic to the show. And yeah, I've heard people say, I don't think they should have started with the present outside the bubble and then go into the sitcom stuff. But I like the slow burn. This is how we're going to start. And then we're going to start giving you little nuggets. Like the little commercials. At first you're like, what do these mean? I don't get it. And now you go, oh, like the last one they had with the logos. Like, when you accidentally make a mess, you gotta clean it up. And that was referencing back to Wanda during the beginning of Civil War when she was trying to help the people and kill Crossbones, but instead she lifted him up and he exploded and blew up the building with all those innocent people in there. So she, accidentally caused the mess and is being blamed, which started the Sokovia Accords in the first place. So, and then the first one with the toaster oven, where you hear the noise and you're like, why is it a toaster doesn't make that noise? Well, that was the noise of the bomb that went off that killed her parents. And that was a bomb made by Tony Stark's company. So you start to see the trauma folded into these commercials that you go, that's a creative way. And it's not too on the nose. I mean, you gotta be like, why? Why are they doing this? And then you start putting the pieces together, and you're like, okay. And it definitely is, the sitcom stuff is interesting because to me, it's like, now people say, well, she's probably like in her 30s. She would have never been around to watch I Love Lucy or Bewitched. But, you go on like Turner Classic Television, she could have been like one of those kids like one of us, watching those old classics. And those were happier days. Those were the happy days with the mommy and the daddy and Pedro, the twin brother.
Yeah.
Who was also not alive anymore. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna create my own little sitcom world in this little bubble, almost like Pleasantville meets the Truman Show, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I can understand that, and that's a good way to retrospectively look at this into what's going on. I would also say doesn't work, because here's the bigger problem with that, is that you watch those episodes, and even now, they haven't given the point. What's the damn point? There is no point to this, other than the fact of, she just wants to be left alone and she wants to live an idyllic life. Okay, guess what? You don't get that in the first episode, so you're sitting there going like, so we're in some sitcom, something's happening, because this isn't just there is something bigger. It's not just they're living here and this is happening. This is how, as the director of the episode or of the series, wanted to portray their lives together. It's not like how that was. It's not like they did it in that way. It's like, this is deliberate. This is a metaphor for however something is going in her past or trauma or life. But the problem is that we still haven't, even in this episode, we still haven't gotten the damn point. And that's the biggest thing as to why, as a series, this fails. The point. Why have we not gotten in here? We are 5 episodes in. Guess what? 5 minutes into The Mandalorian, you knew the point. 5 episodes into all this, we still don't get the point of what's happening. So guess what? As a series, it fails. We were talking about this before we actually recorded the podcast. I could actually be okay with this if this was episode 3 and not episode 5. If this was episode 3, I could do that. If you smushed, episodes 1 and 2 together, maybe smush 3 and 4 together, and then have 5 be the new episode 3, I could be okay with that. That would actually make sense, because you didn't waste my time. Episodes 1 and 2 wasted my time.
Well, you see, I would argue that, because I feel like, since the first 2 episodes weren't, they were fine for what they were, them being only 20 minutes each, you had that opportunity to watch it, get in, get out. If you combine the first 2 episodes, you would then be talking about almost an hour, and in that first hour, if you're not into it at all, you're not going to ever want to come back. At least with the 20 minutes, you can be like, okay, that was 20 minutes. It left you wanting something because of the last end scene, I'll check back in a week when it comes back on Friday, next Friday, and see where we go from there.
That would make sense if this was like a Netflix series where they dropped the entire season in one go.
You see, I actually do not. This is the one time I actually think them not dropping the entire season at once is a very good thing. Good. Because I feel like because like I said, what I've been doing, at least for me, what I've been doing, and I know a lot of other people that I've talked to about the show, we're theorizing every week what's going to happen next. Who, especially now at the end of episode 5, it's like, what does this mean? Why is Evan Peters, who was Quicksilver in the X-Men universe, the recent, he was introduced in Days of Future Past, and then he was in Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. Why is he here? Why didn't she bring back Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver? And now we're going to be theorizing for the next week. What does this mean? Are we introducing the X-Men now? Is this some manifestation? Or is there someone else behind the curtain doing this to bring him in? Is he just a regular person that happens to look like her brother? Or kind of a look-alike of her brother? We're going to be theorizing all week now. What does this mean for the bigger MCU?
Yeah, but there's a problem with that. You said that we're going to be theorizing all week. You might. I won't. Like, absolutely, my theorizing will end as soon as this podcast ends, and I won't think about WandaVision until next Friday.
Until I make you watch it.
Yeah, until basically we come back and say, oh, you should really watch episode 6. And they're like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. Because here's the problem. Episodes 1 and 2 did so much damage to the fact of me caring about this. If episode 1 was 20 minutes long and they smushed all the good parts from episodes 1 and 2 into that one 20-minute episode, and you took out all the stupid stuff, like, I'm sorry, I do not care about the dinner scene in episode 1. That was pointless to me. I didn't care about the magic scene in episode 2. I don't care how many Easter eggs you throw at it or whatever else. I don't care. Move on with life, as far as I'm concerned. Get to the actual point of whatever this is. That's the one thing as to how I feel as if they're losing the people like me who are this. And I might be in the minority. I'm perfectly okay with that. My thoughts are my thoughts. I don't expect anyone else to basically come up and say, yeah, I agree with you. You have your own thoughts of whatever this is. That's what makes life brilliant, is that we can all watch the exact same thing and come out with 20 billion different thoughts on it.
I mean, just like Game of Thrones.
Right. So, but looking at all of this stuff, I would have much preferred the part in episode 4 where you have all the stuff about Rambo and all that other stuff, and kind of, we're sending you to this one place. Then they come up, and they show all the stuff with Jimmy, and then all of a sudden she puts her hand on the thing, and then she gets drawn in, and then you start episode 1. I think that would have been great. You merge episodes 1, 2, and 3 in kind of that. You put her as the person going through all that stuff. Give me 20 minutes of that, or 30 minutes of that, or 2 episodes of her, like, you show the thing where she's going like, she's trying to figure out what's going on because this is not real, but she's kind of being forced to still act like this. That would be 20 million times better than just a random here's Wanda and Vision doing sitcom fun stuff that doesn't matter in the end and never matters because all it is slight little Easter eggs or hints at what could possibly be. That's nothing. You want to know what we call that in anime? It's called filler. Means it doesn't matter. You can literally skip it and you won't lose anything. I would legitimately say, Mom, Dad, just watch episode 3, 4, and 5. Don't even watch episodes 1 and 2. You're not missing anything. You won't. Because the only hints that you saw there was the helicopter and the beekeeper out of the sewer. Those are your 2 hints. The commercials were good. Those kind of showed in that stuff. I would be okay with that. Smush the good parts of all that stuff in, intersperse that with the commercials, maybe do 2 per episode or something like that. But it's like, I don't care about the rest. You lost me as someone who saw all of the movies up to now, It's like, I bought Disney Plus. I have all this stuff. I physically am paying for Disney Plus for my entire family, who they mooch off of me. And then, so this is like, I'm your target audience. I might not be whatever this demographic it was, but the target audience of, you've watched all this stuff up to here, and we're doing this to try and keep you to continue on to the next phase of Marvel and all this stuff. That's who they want. They want the people to bring in this stuff. You're the person who's never seen any of the Marvel stuff and doesn't know who Wanda or Vision are is not going to pick up this stuff and go like, okay, this is what it is. No, it's not going to make sense to them at all. It'll make even less sense. They'll go like, oh, these are two sitcom characters, and that's all this stuff, and they're spoofing sitcoms and all this stuff. And then when the superhero elements get brought in, they'll go like, what just happened to my sitcom? See, they're not the target audience for what's supposed to be happening. So the biggest thing that I feel right now is just that the timing and pacing of this entire series is out of whack, and it ruined it. Like, I'll care maybe about some moments throughout this stuff. The interactions between Darcy and Jimmy are legitimately the only thing that is would keep me to watch it, because their interactions are great. They're the best character work out of the entire series. I'm sorry, I don't care. You never had the investment into what they're actively doing. The only scene that I really cared about Wanda and Vision in is when she turns around and Vision is dead. Like, they showed that his head is like cratered in and all that stuff, and they showed that stuff. That was a great scene, and I wanted more of that. But then they didn't. They immediately went away from it. They went to do other things, and I'm sorry, I don't care.
Alright then. So let me ask, I enjoy it so far. I'm interested to see where they go in the last 4 episodes. Oh, let me ask, there's been talk by both Olsen and Bettany about a character is going to show up at the end of the season, a legacy character. And Paul Bettany has said, this is the one actor I've been wanting to work with in my entire career, and now I get the opportunity to work with this said actor. Who do you think is going to be this character?
Well, there's a lot that it could be, but you had a great kind of breaking down of what everything was. So I want you to break it down for everyone else, and then I can give who I think it should be.
Well, obviously, if Evan Peters' Quicksilver from the original X-Men films is in this timeline now, that could mean it could be Magneto. Now, I think it would be more Ian McKellen than Michael Fassbender, because even though Ian McKellen has already worked with Paul Bettany, I kind of rule him out, though. Because Bettany said, an actor I've never worked with before. Well, you did the Da Vinci Code with Ian McKellen.
Which was a terrible movie, by the way.
Moving on. So that kind of throws him out the door. Then you got Patrick Stewart as Xavier. Now that would, and Olsen's the one that said, this is like Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian type of high bar in terms of the actor and the character. So I'm thinking, well, if it's a Luke Skywalker type of moment, like in the Mandalorian, Patrick Stewart could be that guy. He's been around since the first X-Men 21 years ago. He's been playing Professor X for most of the movies in some shape or form. Even though he did die in Logan, again, like in X-Men The Last Stand, they have brought him back. So, but I said he might not even be. And the reason why I said he might not be is, he's in his 80s. If you're going to bring back Patrick Stewart as Xavier, you're most likely going to sign him on for more than one little guest appearance. You're going to sign him on for multiple films. Especially if the Marvel is starting to ramp up their X-Men franchise in the next year or two. You're going to want an actor to be in multiple films. Especially Professor Xavier. He's the main honcho in X-Men. So, I kind of rule him out too. Yeah, then you can say, well, you got McAvoy and Fassbender. Yeah, but they are not actors, I would say, like, career-wise, this long career. I mean, Fassbender's been around for only 10 years. That's not long. McAvoy, okay, you want to go back to Narnia, 2005, the first Narnia, Mr. Tumnus, that was him. That was his first movie. Okay, so what, 15 and a half years ago? I don't really consider him a long career actor.
That
Yeah.
Paul Bettany really would have wanted to work with. It was like,
And I don't even know, maybe Paul Bettany has worked with McAvoy at one point. I don't know, I gotta go back in there in a little timeline of films and see which one they might have, if they have done a movie together. So then you go, okay, in the X-Men franchise, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, he said he's always wanted to work in the MCU, being in an Avengers movie. Could they bring back Hugh Jackman? Could you see Hugh Jackman? And in terms of a legacy character on the level of a Luke Skywalker, Hugh Jackman fits that bill. Like, he's been around for 21 years. He's done more X-Men related movies than anybody else in the X-Men franchise. I mean, he has 3 solo films and all the team-up movies and...
the rebooted movies.
Yeah, and he's also starred in almost every... In the X-Men movies he was in, he was the star.
Yes.
Other than for Apocalypse, where he had that one scene that didn't even need to be in the movie, and that cameo in First Class. Great cameo at the bar, when he tells McAvoy and Fassbender to F off. Great moment. But other than that, he's been the star. So yeah, he could be that Luke Skywalker, cameo or scene stealer. But then you go, okay, what are you going to do with him now?
Yeah, why?
Why? Once again, you killed him off in Logan. I mean, so you're going to bring him back too? Now, that opens up a whole wide of things because we just talked about Spider-Man. They bring him back Doc Ock, bring him back Electro, Jamie Foxx. Well, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock died in Spider-Man 2. So, who knows?
Resurrecting the dead isn't really a problem that we have right now.
No, well, Vision's back.
Yeah.
So do you think Hugh Jackman is a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. They said that this is going to be a reveal of some Luke Skywalker quality, which I understand why they said it, because that's the biggest thing. Mandalorian had the biggest kind of reveal at the end in recent memory of stuff. So I kind of understand why they made that, especially since they're also Disney Plus thing. The problem is nope. Sorry. They're legitimately, unless it's the 3 you mentioned, Professor X is Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen is Magneto, or Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. There is no one that you can possibly do that's going to have that, oh my god moment. And here's the problem.
James Marsden's back as Cyclops.
Oh, yeah.
Finally gets his moment. All these years. A wasted character in the X-Men movie finally has a moment.
Yeah, it's James Marsden, everyone. James Marsden, everyone. Yay!
Vision. Die.
No, but realistically, it's that's all you got. So what? What? Cap? No, we just saw him. And there, Robert Downey Jr.
Well, wait a minute. Let's go back to Cap for a moment. Couldn't we see Chris Evans back? Because we did find out a couple weeks ago he's returning to the MCU. But they didn't say what project, or if he's coming back as even Captain America. So Zach, why would you bring back Chris Evans if you're opening up the multiverse? Who was Chris Evans before Cap?
Oh, well, Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah,
Johnny boy, all fired up. I would love to see Chris Evans show up as Johnny Storm and Wanda be like, WTF?
Yeah, I think the entire world would be WTF at that point. But no,
I,
I like when you're looking at this stuff, the like it could be, just like how we talked about with Tom Holland. You wrote a check that you can't cash. So there could be something like that. I
well,
would
well,
love
well,
for
well,
there to be a twist kind of coming in for this. And, what I think will actually happen is that you potentially have like a rebooted Professor X. Because for Professor X to get that type of feel, all you need is an actor in a wheelchair with a bald head. Congratulations. There you can go. And you put
I'm
Hugh
hired.
Jackman behind him, like standing behind him or something, then boom, you kind of get your thing. Because then you have the wise Wolverine there. We're there with Professor X, with our new recasted Professor X. And boom, you're done. That's how you can get there.
Well, let's talk about. So we mentioned in our Spider-Man talk moments ago that Wanda is basically part one of a three-part story. Part two is going to be Spider-Man 3. And we just talked about them opening up the multiverse. Maybe we'll see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So, Zach, could this legacy character, could he actually be Tobey Maguire? A lot of the people have grown up watching the three Spider-Man films with Tobey. He's, as of right now, the only actor who has played Spider-Man 3 times.
True.
So, could he be? And considering that is the next movie in this trilogy, if you will. So we see Tobey Maguire back.
Yeah, I guess the whole thing about where this is that we have to change locations. We have to move on from there. So this has to, if we want to bring in a Spider-Man and do that tease, you have to move to New York. You have to, which they're in New Jersey, so hop, skip, and a jump. They're right there. But you have to right now everything that's happening.
That is a good point. They're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So that is more of a possibility actually than the X-Men.
True.
So,
but like the biggest thing is that you have to get there. And right now, the entire movie, or sorry, I say movie just because MCU, but the entire series up to this point has all been, other than the scene in the hospital with Rambo and the scene at Sword in the last episode, it has been in that one taken care of. In the house, mainly. And just outside of it. So it's like the scope of the series. I don't see the scope of the series going until I expect this series to end with the barrier being broken. I don't expect them to be going somewhere else in this series. How this series will end is going to end in that city.
So, alright, so we said, once again, let's break it down. So we said Ian McKellen as Magneto. We said Professor Xavier, probably Stewart. Now we said Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. We said Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah, and Chris Evans is Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Storm.
Oh, yeah. I'm mixing them up. I'm combining characters.
So, now, in the last episode, our friend Monica Rambeau mentioned an astrophysicist that she knows.
Oh, yeah. I just happen to know this person.
Yeah, I just happen to know this person. Do you think that was relevant?
I'm thinking one of two things. Either A, they're going to make up something and whoever had the old drone or whatever, and that's where that came from. Because how did they get the drone? Because that's the context that it was kind of brought up around. So we have to get something from the 80s into there. And that's kind of the context it was brought up around. So it could have been a throwaway line of a hint at a possible character, which we'll talk about in a second.
Now I bring this up, Zach. Marvel is known for doing this. Dropping characters' names. What was it? The Winter Soldier. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That scene when they're on top of the building. And the Hydra guy says, they're asking, what was it, Black Widow and Cap are asking the guy, how are you finding these people? he's like, we have an algorithm, and we're finding, you know, they name dropped a few people, and they named Stephen Strange.
Right.
And now this was almost 3 years before the Doctor Strange movie came out. Now, in this scene in WandaVision, they don't drop a name. They just drop what the person does, what they do for a living. They're not what their background.
Mm-hmm.
They're not astrophysicists. Now, when I hear that we're gonna have a Luke Skywalker type of moment, we're gonna bring in a legacy character. Now, they didn't specify in the movies. They said a legacy character. Now, in the Marvel universe, Marvel, what other legacy character is there besides the ones we've already seen, like Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Thor? Who else is out there?
I don't know. I think there's some family.
A family?
Out there.
There's a family. You mean The Incredibles?
Oh, well, yeah, that could work. Mr. Incredible.
Mr. Incredible.
Mrs. Incredible.
Mrs. Incredible. Jack.
Yeah. We're all talking about Jack.
Yeah. Well, this is all about Jack.
Yep.
Jack is going to be the main one. Pixar and Marvel are going to connect together. You're going to see
I would actually be down for that.
You're going to see Woody walking by the screen.
I'd be down for that, too.
But you said a family, though. Now...
Could it be a family of 4?
4. Now, Zach, interesting to bring this up. Back in December, Disney had their little shareholders meeting. And when did Kevin Feige drop during that shareholders meeting?
Oh, didn't they say something was in the works with a certain family?
Fantastic Four family?
Oh, yeah.
They brought in...
They exist.
They exist. Wow.
I know, we're so used to just terrible movies about them, so,
they've done 4. Maybe. They've done 3. No, yeah, they've done... Well, if you count the sequel to the 2000 one, this has been 4 so far. It will be on number 5. But if you just go by the start and stop, this will be number 4. Maybe 4 for 4 will work. So, going back, so Disney announced, we are moving forward with Fantastic Four. And we have a director, John Watts, the director of the last 2 Spider-Man films, and currently filming the new Spider-Man film. Coincidence? I don't think so. So, Zachary, who could show up in this show?
Well, I guess it would obviously be Mr. Fantastic.
Reed Richards?
Oh.
But who would play him?
Oh, there's a ton of people. Why not get the original actor? I just almost gave Matt a heart attack right there. Everyone, you can't see it, but you should know. Matt just grabbed his heart as if I just killed him. Oh no. How about let's think about this. I'm thinking of a guy. Let me see if I'll drop you hints of who this guy can be.
A guy,
He used to work in an office.
Oh.
He spent a lot of time talking to a camera.
Oh.
He likes it quiet.
Oh.
And then, sometimes he likes, running around with a gun.
So nothing with my Jack?
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Oh. Who is it, Matt? Guess.
John Krasinski. Johnny Boy. Not that Johnny Boy, the other Johnny Boy.
Oh, here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. John Krasinski. I bet you...
As Johnny Storm.
No. That would be Chris Evans returning. Now that would be a twist. That would be... John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Johnny Storm, Chris Evans.
That would be pretty funny.
And we bring back Kate Mara from the recent Fantastic Four as Sue Storm. We have all 3. One big happy family. No, I think John Krasinski is the secret character. They're already for them to announce in December, a month before the show began. Oh, we're moving forward with the Fantastic Four movie, and we already have a director, same director that's doing the Spider-Man films, and that Spider-Man film might open up the multiverse. Okay, now you got my attention. So how much do you want to make a bet it's going to be John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic? And do you think he'll be in the suit?
No to the suit. No to the suit. I would expect him to be Reed Richards, not Mr. Fantastic, yet.
But I think they have to have him in the suit. Because most people might not be like,
That's true, and that's the downfall of what it is.
That's John Krasinski.
But the problem is that they haven't had that thing, because here's another one that I want to throw out in there that would be much easier to do, because his look is even more iconic. Who plays opposite the Fantastic Four? His name is 4 letters. Doom.
Oh.
Because they're from the made-up country in Europe.
Sokovia.
Yeah. So they're...
Sokovia.
Right.
And who's from Sokovia?
I don't think he's from that one specifically, but he's from that area.
Right. Who's from Sokovia?
For who?
Who's in the show isn't from Sokovia. The name is in the title of the show.
Yeah, Wanda.
Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
And in the comics, doesn't Wanda at some point team up with Doctor Doom?
I'm pretty sure they have some episodes and some comics together.
They do. Now, wouldn't that be a twist?
Yeah, you don't have a good twist. You have an evil twist.
Doctor Doom. I didn't think about that one. That would be big. That would
Because...
And if you want to set up the big bad of this phase, who better than Doom?
Who better?
Who can take down Wanda?
Doom.
Doom.
Doom can take down anyone.
That would be interesting. But how would they do that?
Well, it's real simple. All they have to do is show a green hood over a metal mask, and that's it. You don't even have to have an actor yet. Like, you don't. You could. It's like it would be the easiest one to do, and the best thing about Doom is that you have all these parallels and everything else that you can kind of go with.
The only problem with that is, for me, they cast the wrong actor for a role. Mads Mikkelsen would have been the perfect Doctor Doom.
Yes, very true.
Even though they wasted him in Doctor Strange.
Here's the good thing about it is that if he's behind a mask, they can just use his voice.
Yeah, it's true. But
Or the better thing is that, just think about it, they could do a Darth Vader. If he's behind the mask, you can have stunt actor man be Doctor Doom, but then get the voice of whoever you want. There's so many good voices. I mean, Ultron.
James Vader?
Yeah, they got him for the voice and for the presence that just his voice alone can do. They didn't hire him to go, be Action Man. They hired him for just the power of his voice.
True.
So they could do the exact same thing. I'm not saying go find James Earl Jones and say, hey, you want to come join this project? But, they could go out.
Javier Bardem would be another good one.
Right. And someone that you've either already used and they can just put on a different voice, or someone that you might want to use as a different thing that can just do a voice for whatever.
But let me ask though, do you think Marvel would already play that hand right after Thanos? Doctor Doom is a huge villain.
Well, they've screwed him up every single time that they've tried to do it, other than in the comics. So
that's my point.
Might as well start him small and build him up, like a Loki. You started Loki small, and then you built him up to the big bad of the first Avengers. Thanos was behind him.
I would almost, and I've heard this before, if you wanted to end the show to kind of give you the bigger scope of the next phase, almost like they did in the Avengers by the end, when you saw Thanos in the post-credit scene, and he just looked at the camera and smiled. I remember that, and you were like, who is that? Who's the purple guy? I don't know who he is. But then there were those people that were like, That's the Mad Titan. That's Thanos. That, and everyone's like, oh boy. So imagine, instead of Doctor Doom showing up in Westview, which I don't know why he would go to Westview, nothing other than to get Wanda for powers or whatever. Imagine they cut away from Westview. Or wait a minute, better yet, Wanda goes back home to Sokovia.
There just happens to be a castle.
She goes there. And maybe by the end of the season, she's finally done with her trauma. She's trying to start over. And the best way to do that is to start back home at the beginning, where it all began. She goes home thinking it's going to be all ruined, all destroyed by Ultron. And she realizes this land, this island, this rock, this hunk of land is flourishing. People are happy. People are living their lives. I want to move back home. What am I doing in America? Damn Americans. What have they done right? What are we still doing right? I don't know. I want to go back home. And then someone says, she goes up to some random stranger, like, what's going on here? And she says, oh, Victor. Oh, Victor. Where's Victor? Victor up there in the castle. She goes into the castle and sitting on a throne, a giant throne, is Doctor Doom in the entire outfit. And she just looks up, and there he is. Cut.
Yeah.
That would be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. That would shake everybody. That would be like, instead of showing that in a movie, you gotta watch our show.
And that's the reason why I say something like a Doctor Doom coming up and something like this could be the big thing. If you put in a big character, but not in, like, he's not like the big bad who's manipulating Wanda or something like that, but you have him, you tease him at the end. Just like how Luke Skywalker wasn't teased in The Mandalorian. I mean, they kind of did. They said, you got to reach out to the Jedi. But if you listen to people who were talking about this, they were saying, oh, we wish it was Luke, but it's probably not going to be Luke. It's probably going to be, 3 other Jedis who were still alive. You saw all those articles getting floated around. The Jedi who could answer the call from Grogu and all that stuff. So, and then Luke was going always there. It's like, well, it could be Luke, but, Mark Hamill's old. So, that was basically the entire reason for that. So,
and then people said, oh, yeah, the aging.
Yeah, and we were just like, oh, yeah, that bad CGI that we should have.
Now we've seen it in every other Marvel movie.
Right.
Where did that go?
Yeah. But, I think doing something like this would actually get me much more into what would happen next. Because right now, as I was saying earlier, everything is just bringing me down. Like, that's the big thing. You're bringing me down, Smalls. You're bringing me down. Like, I want something to actually be excited for. And, they're only showing me glimpses of something to be excited for and not enough.
Sokovia, the land I call my home. Sokovia, wait. Sorry. That was Genovia. Wrong Disney movie. Thinking the Princess Diaries for a minute. Totally wrong movie. But still in the same umbrella of Disney. That would even be even more of a twist. We're going to Genovia. We got Anne Hathaway. We're good.
Oh, God.
The new store. You think I always wanted another Catwoman movie? I didn't get it. So, that is our Wanda review up to the midpoint so far. We still have about, I think, 4 episodes. I think there's 9. Some say 9, some say 10. We'll see. But for now, that's our thoughts. I like it. Zach doesn't. Maybe Dr. Doom will change that around. Maybe not. we'll see in another. We'll come back in about the season finale and see how it all wraps up and what it means for Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Which I'm much more excited about than WandaVision. So, it's the spark has to be somewhere. So, if the flame is better than the spark, I'm okay with it. And always remember to like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. The podcast is available wherever you want to get your podcast. If we are not there, let us know, and we will get there. Remember to like our Facebook page, Attack Bat Productions. Thanks for listening, everyone.